All right, welcome back to another episode of Five Questions. And today I've got Vrunda. Is that how you say your name? Vrunda?
It's Brenda.
Vrunda. Okay, I was pretty close. I usually butcher
Pretty
names, so
close.
that's good.
Yes.
So we've got Vrunda here from the West Coast. You got some good questions lined up?
Yes, I do. Thank you so much for having me, Nick.
Awesome. Let's have some fun.
Okay, so my first question is, how does one make a quantum leap? Because what I have noticed in my own life is I'm pretty decent. I've been studying law of attraction for about 10 years. I'm pretty good at I've manifested a lot of great things, but I always hit a plateau where it's like halfway. I'm great till that halfway point, and it's like hitting a ceiling. So
Okay,
how can I make a quantum leap? Is it even possible?
so let's talk about exactly what quantum leap is, because there's kind of two perspectives of what quantum leap means. So the traditional perception of quantum leap is making a big jump from like here to there, right? And I think that's the context that you're talking about when you mention quantum leap right now. Now, when people ask me about quantum leaping, what I explain, and there's a whole call in the collective about this, is a real quantum leap is happening all the time. So in every second, we are quantum leaping because every time that your beliefs change, every time that your awareness change, you are literally becoming a brand new person at a brand new vibration. And every time you do that, you're jumping to a new reality, new reality, new reality. So if you listen to somebody like Bashar, he says that we shift realities billions of times per second, almost the
Wow.
same way that you see the movie strips going down, all the pictures that make up a movie, kind of the same thing. So when people ask me about quantum leaping, I say, well, we're quantum leaping every second. Now, in the context of what you're talking about, is how do you make a big quantum leap,
Mhm.
being how do you make a big change in your reality? And the simple answer is that the more I think the same thoughts, the less my perspectives, negative emotions, and thoughts change, then the more I'm quantum leaping to kind of the same thing, right?
Oh,
So small awareness shift leads to small physical reality shift.
oh.
Big awareness shift, big change in perception leads to bigger change in reality. So I would say what leads to a big quantum leap is a big change in perception, big change in negative emotion, big change in where you're putting your focus. Does that
Mm,
kind of answer your question?
yes. Yeah, that's a really interesting answer. I've never seen it talked about that way. That's
Yeah,
really something.
yeah. And then when it comes to, what you really talked about was, you progress and then you feel like you plateau,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So when we plateau like that, it's always because of resistance. So
Mm.
anytime, the amount of time it takes for manifestation to show up always relates to resistance. And we can never get to a point where there's no resistance, but we want to lower that resistance as much as possible. So forward movement always happens first and foremost at a vibrational level. So when you're plateauing, it's probably because either you're recognizing, you're noticing, I'm not there yet, I'm not there yet, I'm not there yet, I'm not there yet, or where is
Yes.
it, where is it, where is it, where is it? Or it could be a fear, right? You could be
Yeah.
getting really close to that thing and start noticing it. But if you've got a subconscious fear that, oh, it's not safe to manifest it, people might judge me or I might lose it, then that can create resistance too. So the source of the plateau is probably going to be something different for different people.
Interesting. So that leads perfectly into my next question because I don't have issues of fear. That's never been my thing. My problem has always been about playing catch up. So I wanted to ask you, how do you apply the new paradigm, which I absolutely love because I feel like I've spent my whole life in the old paradigm, right?
Yeah.
And that's helped me accomplish a lot. But now, again, I've reached that plateau. So how do you apply that to being a solopreneur? Because that is what I am right now. And it's constant overwhelm, constant to do lists. Always feel like I'm trying to catch up, but never actually getting there.
And when you say catch up, what are you trying to catch up to? Is it catch up
So
to a certain level of clients? Is it catch up to an income? Is it catch up to What's
Great.
the catch? What's the
So my
catch up to?
catch up is always about, and I know I'm not supposed to compare myself to others, but I compare myself to inspire myself. And then I see so many great people doing great things. They're like everywhere in social media. They have like, presence everywhere. They're just doing so much. And I feel like I am too, but I don't have the help. I feel like I could be doing all those things and I'm always trying to catch up to where everybody else is.
Okay, so you've basically
Even
got a
though we started at the same time, like, even though we are exactly starting at
so
the,
you've basically what you're describing to me sounds like you've got a perception of what that business needs to look like.
yes, I have a vision and I never get to it because of time, because of resources, help, all of that. Solopreneur.
So all of that stuff, do you think that so A, does that stuff excite you and feel fun?
Yes, I love it. I have
Okay.
so many things I love so much. And so it's the frustration of not being able to do those things, not being able to accomplish them.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like you're procrastinating in any ways.
No, I'm extremely
You're
productive.
excited. So really what you're doing is you're being attached to an outcome, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So are you having fun with your business?
I love it. It's the best thing in the world. And
Okay.
that's why I feel so successful so far, even in my limited way of doing it,
Yeah.
because at the same time, I'm a single mom, I'm responsible for other people. So I'm hyper focused, hyper productive, but still not quite there, right?
And if you're having a blast in your business, if you're in this state of pleasure in your business, if it's exciting, why does it matter that you're not there?
Because I guess I feel like this, I think maybe it has to do with that middle age thing where it's like I changed careers from academia to entrepreneurship and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm behind. So I need to get to a certain level. And again, I feel like the business is already so successful and feels so great. It could be doubly, triply more successful. I could reach more people. I could help more people. So
And when you get there, you're going to feel the same thing again and again and again, right? So what
no,
we
because
want
I feel like I don't even have the foundation, of all the things that you're supposed to have for
yeah,
an
but
entrepreneur.
throw supposed to out the window, right? Because one entrepreneur, you could have five people with the same product, the same offering, and the path to success for each one of those people could be completely different,
Hmm.
right? So I'm more curious about this I'm behind feeling. So can we play with that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, because that's my dominant, maybe that's the resistance. That's always my
Yeah,
dominant
so
vibration.
if I said I feel behind because what pops in your head? The first thing that pops in your head.
I feel behind because my business is not the way I envision it to be yet.
And why does that mean? So again, you're in the journey of the business,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And the journey is ongoing. So why do you believe that because you're not where you think you should be, that means that you're behind?
Because
Because
I look at, yeah, because I look at other people in my same niche and think they're doing fantastic things and are way ahead, and I should be there too.
what if you're building a stronger vibrational foundation with your business?
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Because progress happens first and foremost at the vibrational level, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, the story that comes to mind, I know it sounds cliche, is the tortoise and the hare,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And I remember when I put out my first book, Power of Joy, when I got the first draft back from the editor, it took me 9 months to get back to the draft just to do the edits. No matter how much I tried, the energy wasn't there. I just couldn't get back to it. And during those 9 months, Wayne Dyer passed away. I
Mhm.
reflected a lot on his writing style. And then when the energy suddenly came back to get back to the book, I came back with a fresh new energy. I changed all the chapters, I integrated stories, and that's the reason people love that book so much. So those 9 months of delay were probably the best thing that could have happened for that book and for my writing style and
Mhm.
for the power of joy that came next, right?
Mhm.
So if I go back in time to that period where it was time for me to get back to those edits, and I had 5 friends who all put out those books 9 months before me, does that necessarily mean that I'm behind? What if 9 months later, when my book goes out, I'm selling way more books out of the gate,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
So this I feel like I'm behind feeling, can you acknowledge that your path is unique to you? And then
Yes.
everybody you're comparing yourself to, that they all have their own unique paths?
Yes. Yes. But it still brings up that resistance, right? I need to work on that.
Okay, and what's that resistance? What's that feeling? Is it still that I feel
Of
like I'm behind?
of time, right? That there's never enough time. You always have to rush. You have to, you have a to-do list that never ends
Okay, and I feel that way because,
because I have big dreams I want to accomplish and I don't feel like I'm there yet.
okay, and from the vibration of I'm not there yet,
Yeah.
I think physical reality can match that,
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
So what I
Big.
would do is, as homework for you on this topic,
Mhm.
is spend 15 minutes a day just doing positive aspect lists. Write about all the things that you're satisfied with in your reality. Write
Okay.
about all of the current things about your business that you're satisfied with. So practice tuning into um, the successes and the things that bring satisfaction. Pleasure is, I think, the most potent force in all of this work. And the more pleasure you can find in what you're doing, not caring about where you're at, that's
Mhm.
what's going to accelerate you faster. There's a saying, I think Bashar says it, the more you're okay with what is, the faster you're going to go.
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And so my next question is, why is it that I've realized the past 1 to 2 years, I have come so far in alignment. I have a solid morning routine. Even though I have all of this to-do list, I feel so happy every day. I feel so great every day. And yet, as much as that has increased, so has all of the pain in my body. How could that happen? I have like
Okay.
more pain. And my doctor just says, she says it's age, it's menopause, it's just,
Yeah,
so
no.
what is the biological? What is the emotional?
So do you have any type of diagnosis? Is it in your joints? Can you describe the pain a little bit?
A lot of like thigh pain, just quad pain out of nowhere. It just came and then it stayed forever at night, like having trouble sleeping at night. And I know you said that you have to get that restorative sleep at night. Otherwise, it
Yeah.
hits you in so many ways. But yeah, leg pain. I have a tear in my shoulder. I don't even know where that came from. I'm just getting all of these weird physical pain manifestations that are taking me out of alignment when I'm already in alignment. So I should be feeling really good physically too, right?
Yeah,
But
I mean,
not
they're
the side.
reflecting they're reflecting something going on in your attraction point. So the thigh pain, is it muscular or is it like a joint pain?
Muscular. Yeah, it's
I'm
the
just gonna,
muscle.
I've never actually looked up thighs in this book. I'm gonna take a look.
Thank you for doing that.
I'm very curious. There's nothing for thigh.
I
Um,
looked it up myself and there was nothing.
Let me look for, I mean, if it's muscular, and then the other, so if I asked you, how does that condition make me feel? So what emotion, or can you describe the pain?
Yeah, it's really ache. It's like a deep, deep ache,
And,
constant ache.
and when did it start?
It started about 4 or 5 months ago, and
Okay,
it
and
started sporadically. Now it's become more and more consistent.
okay, and was there anything going on about 5 months ago that was maybe bringing up some emotional stuff, maybe under more stress, under more pressure?
No, actually, it's the opposite. I've gotten so much better, so much happier, so much more aligned than I ever was before. So that's why I didn't understand how that could happen from being feeling really good.
Okay. And the muscle condition, does it feel tight? Does it feel tense? Does it just feel sore?
Yeah, it's just sore achiness that doesn't sometimes let you sleep at night because you toss and turn because of it.
Okay. And what would you say is your biggest source of worry? Is it work in your business?
Yes. I think just long-term financial security, wanting to retire in a good way when that time comes. That's pretty much my only real worry.
And do you have tight and tense neck and shoulders?
Yes, but that's always been the case.
Yeah, so
I've
so
always had
my
that.
guess is it probably comes from the stress and pressure you're putting on yourself to like, I gotta figure it out, I gotta figure it out.
Yeah,
That
maybe.
would prevent you from getting into those deeper rest and repair modes when you're sleeping. I'd love to find something in the book though that relates to that.
Yeah.
Um, it's not a tendon problem. I'm gonna keep thinking about what to look up in this book because let me just look up just legs just to see.
Mhm.
Usually you need like a specific condition.
Hmm.
Leg isn't there. Let's just look up muscle. Let's just see muscle
Yeah.
problems.
Muscle pain, I think, is the main thing.
So here it says muscle weakness often represents an inner weakness due to combination of emotional exhaustion, feeling overwhelmed, or feeling rigid and guilty. You don't know, you not only don't acknowledge your power, you may have abandoned it. You may be longing for a time when you had no problems and were free of stressful and angry people in your life. You seem to feel guilty about being the cause of problems within family, feeling blamed for mistakes. How does any of that feel?
Oh yeah, overwhelm. That's my main thing. That's the dominant part of my life is overwhelm.
Yeah, so my guess is it probably relates to that.
Okay. So then how do I do that? Like that it's so perfectly leads to my next question, which is that the what I find, because I know that you talk about this, about being very specific about knowing what takes you out of alignment so that you can catch it, right?
Yeah,
As
once you recognize the resistance, then you can do the inner work to clear it, right? Because all resistance starts with perspectives,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Perspectives lead to emotions. Those emotions are the guidance that are telling you what that perspective is and the resistance is. So for you, the big piece of homework would be to do some clearing work around that feeling of overwhelm, right?
Okay.
And the overwhelm comes from the stuff you talked about earlier about, my business isn't where I want it to be. I want to retire. I'm running out of time.
Mhm.
Those are the things that you want to work through. And a little bit of reframing work is understanding that, with the power of alignment through the mechanism of synchronicity, anything can happen like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's not about efforting and actioning and rushing your way to the outcome, but
Mm.
more or less aligning yourself to a place where when you're a vibrational match to what it is you want to be experiencing, that mechanism of synchronicity in your alignment is going to take care of the rest.
Mm. And so what do you do when you feel like you have a lot of responsibilities for other people? Like I am a single mom, I have two teenage boys and an elderly parent that I am responsible for. So I feel like that is what probably takes me out of alignment the most, is that constant pressure of being responsible for other people. And then sometimes I want to admit I do get angry and frustrated from that, and then boom, I'm out of alignment, and I know it, and yet it happens every single time.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things we can look at in that context. Um, a few reminders. So, one, we can best serve others when our own cup is full,
Hmm.
right? So, what I see a lot of parents do is they're giving so much to their children or so much to their aging parents that their cup is empty and they're not taking time for themselves and they're not replenishing their own cup. And there's a bit of a mentality of, I need to be a martyr to make sure my kids have the best life possible, right? So, making sure that your cup is full, knowing that by making yourself a priority, you're going to be teaching your kids that when they grow up to make themselves a priority too. So that's part of it. Another part is understanding that they have their own inner beings and their own inner guidance to help them solve their problems. And the more, like, my role as a parent is to teach my kids how to tune into their own inner beings. So I don't want to be their source of soothing. I want them to learn to find their own route to happiness and not be dependent on me. So a lot of the boundary work that needs to take place between us and our family members is really, and one exercise you could do is sit down and really journal out and write out, what, through the eyes of source, what should my boundaries look like with my parents and my kids, so that you have that clarity after writing it down, and then you can work on being your 2.0, where you're acting out of those healthy boundaries.
Okay. Yeah, because I've never done the martyr thing. I've always taught them these principles from a young age as well. So it's not like they do anything to really make things difficult. It's more just that emotional piece of it that you always have, that, hey, I got to make sure they're all okay. Hey, I got to make sure they're all okay. So it's
Yeah.
that.
And the work there would be around understanding that their inner beings got that covered.
Okay.
Right? They have their own inner being, their own inner guidance. So for you, in order to detach from that, it might be about doing some clearing work around those fears of things are going to go wrong, something bad might happen, things of that nature.
Okay. Okay. And so you've talked about this before, about in order to lose weight, I'm going to go back to the body here, you have to lighten up. I remember you said that in a previous call, and I'm trying to do that. But is there a reason why the body hangs on to like exactly 8 pounds for like 15 years? I mean, exactly. It's just will not budge from those 8 pounds. And it's just enough to make you uncomfortable,
With
right?
weight, there's always a few different things to look at. So one is sleep, one is emotions, the lightening up. One can be split energy. So let's say -8 pounds is your ideal weight. So if
Mhm.
you ask the question, if I was at that ideal weight, if I was at exactly the weight I want it to be, how does that feel unsafe? Right?
Not at all. Actually, it would be amazing,
Yeah,
right?
and
And what energy.
for some people, the answer is things like, I'll get more attention, people will stare at me. So, yeah, again, different people have different sources of resistance. My guess for you, based on your solo entrepreneur stuff that we talked about, it's
Mm,
probably getting more into a relaxed state and rest and repair. For me, my source of weight is the stress and pressure I put on myself in order to like accomplish certain things,
mhm.
or all the work that I feel like I have to do on my shoulders, which I don't. um, so that's a lot of the stuff you talk about for yourself is the stuff that for me I've worked on and continue to work on, coming from the tech startup background and being used to working 50 hours a week.
Mm. And do you feel that you have enough help in your business? So if you want to manifest somebody who could come in and help you in your business, who would actually treat it as if it's their own, right? I haven't had good experiences in the past, even though I've tried to manifest a great assistant. I've tried to manifest somebody who would care, who could, take off some of that load. Do you feel that you have enough help?
Yeah, and I just started that process probably in the last 6 months. And for me, I've gone through, marketing people and people who did not pan out. Um, but it was still always a learning process. And
Mm,
again, it's never the path of no resistance, it's the path of least resistance. So when you're attracting an employee that doesn't work out, it's not a sign that you screwed up. It's not a sign that you made a mistake. It's just a piece of fertilizer, because in the collective we call contrast fertilizer. It's a piece of fertilizer to say, okay, so what did I have going on that attracted that outcome? Was it a belief that nobody can do it as good as me? Is it a belief that I need to do it all? Is it a belief that there's no good people out there? So it's just about looking at that circumstance and doing a bit of analysis, to kind of reverse engineer it into your vibration. And we have a new process in the collective called the Freedom Formula, and that's kind of what that looks like. So it's about understanding that every piece of contrast isn't a screw up; it's just a sign of what we have been practicing, and it just means it's some tweaks to make in our vibration.
okay, excellent. And I have one last question for you. And this is a very interesting one for me because I've been studying, we talked about this earlier, Abraham Hicks for a while, and I believe she says that karma doesn't exist. but I come from Hinduism. And so for me, all of everything I believe is a combination of law of attraction with Hindu philosophy. So that doesn't sit right with me, but so I just choose not to kind of look at that aspect of what she says, but I'd like to know what you think about that.
Yeah, so law of attraction is a law like gravity. So anytime anybody says, what's the law of attraction? I say, it's physics just like gravity. The only difference is gravity, you let go of something, it falls. Law of attraction is whatever you're putting out is what you get back. Now, karma kind of ties into that a little bit. I don't know what the exact, definition of karma is that you're using. Um, but the way I would perceive karma to fit in with law of attraction is, if I'm a mean, angry person, then I am at the vibration of anger.
Mm,
So I will attract circumstances that trigger anger, right? So I would say the way karma works is not around good or bad, but more around the vibration I'm putting out is the vibration I'm going to get back.
mm, okay.
Does that kind of fit together, weave it together a little bit?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. What about consequences? How do people get consequences for their actions?
That's a good question. And I guess it depends on how you even would perceive a consequence,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
See that's something, right? Because always people always there's always this term of like, why do bad things happen to good people, and why does it always seem like bad people get away with everything?
Yeah, and I don't like the term
Yeah,
consequence because the term consequence makes it sound like you've done something bad. But the vibe, I would say all of physical reality is a vibrational consequence, right?
mm,
If
hmm,
I'm putting out, good enoughness and worthiness and love and positive vibrations, well, the consequence is going to be a lovely reality. If I'm putting out negativity and anger and lower negative emotions, then the consequence of that vibration is going to attract a very different physical reality, right? So
hmm,
I would say consequence is a response to your vibration, not
hmm.
a you shouldn't be like that or do this, I'm going to punish you kind of
So then why are there so many low vibration negative people who are very successful in the outside, the material world?
thing. Because success isn't a reflection of your intent, success is a reflection of your beliefs. So if I believe without a shadow of a doubt that I'm going to be a billionaire next month, with
Mm-hmm.
no doubts, no resistance, then that's what I'll experience. And my intent is unrelated to that.
Wow. I'm so glad you clarified that because I was looking for that exact explanation and I wasn't finding it. Like, how is that possible? So, can you say that again? Intent? It's not,
So another
it's
way to
not
look at it
intent.
too is from source's vantage point, there is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. There's only physical reality experiences.
Okay.
So some souls decide to incarnate as Mother Teresa. Some souls decide to incarnate as maybe somebody who sells drugs and commits crimes. And Source doesn't perceive that as right or wrong, good or bad. Source perceives it as just two different physical reality experiences that us as non physicals can choose to come here and experience for our own growth and expansion. So I don't think Source perceives right, wrong, good, bad, because all contrast is valid.
Mm,
All contrast is an experience of growth and expansion of our souls because we are infinite beings.
got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And of
So,
course, as humans who are here in the physical having the experience, of course we prefer love. And of course we prefer ease. And of course we prefer peace. Um, but, this is a duality based physical reality where you can't experience those things if the negative aspect doesn't exist either.
got it. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that could be a very deep conversation that could go along for quite a
Yes,
while.
for a long time. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Th-
Did we make it through all your questions?
Yes, yes, we did.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for playing, Vrunda.
Thank you, Nick.
Bye for now.